finishes a book in the middle of a pandemic and self-publishes it in the middle of the same pandemic? This girl. I want to do a long overdue introduction to my first book baby, Dream Girl. This book will always have a special place in my heart because it's the first book I've completed and self-published. There will be many more to come, but it's a first one, and firsts are special. Now, Dream Girl is a romantic suspense novel. It's fiction, so you have a love story on the one hand, and you also have an action story going on at the same time. So let me tell you a little bit about the love story first, because I love me some good fiction. The main characters of this book are Hope and Dean. Hope is a college girl. She is in the final lap of her campus years, and she's having a bit of a quarter-life crisis because she's not so sure that what she spent the past couple of years studying is what she wants to do for the rest of her life. And I think most of us have kind of been there at some point. And then we have our hero Dean, who is on the other side of the journey that Hope is about to embark. He's already had a pretty successful career, made it to the top, and it didn't quite hit the spot like he thought it would. And so he has backtracked and found something that he loves doing and chosen to do that instead, which is carpentry. And why he makes the choice to do carpentry out of every vocation possible is something you'd need to read the book to find out, because he does explain why. So we have these two very different characters. We have Hope, who is green-eyed and still very idealistic about life, still figuring out who she is and what she wants to do with the rest of her life. And we have Dean on this other side, who has kind of seen and done some things, and he has an idea of what he wants out of life, and he also has an idea of what he doesn't want from life, and that has informed a lot of the choices he's made. And in comes the catalyst that leads them into each other's life, and that's the death of Hope's father. I know what you're thinking. It's a romance book, but death is not exactly the kind of lovey-dovey topic that you want to really have in a fiction book. And I have to say, no one is more surprised by the element of death in this book than me, because years ago when I was thinking about what kind of author I'd be, there are always those topics that I thought I'd never write about. I was so sure I would never handle anything that was sad and depressing and anxiety-inducing. But over the years, my perspective of writing and my perspective of my work has changed a lot. And maybe that's a story for another day, but yes, Hope's father does pass on in this book. And one of the things that Hope and Dean have to deal with, as well as the other characters in the book, is grieving the loss of this man who to Hope was a father and to Dean was a father figure. Because as Dean is trying to navigate Christianity and he's trying to navigate his faith, one of the pillars that really stands by him and really helps him along the way is Hope's father, and that's the connection between the two of them. Now let's get into the action story a little bit. After the death of Hope's father, as usually tends to happen, there is a matter of inheritance, what he has left behind for Hope and his sisters, who you also get to meet in the book. And in the process of uncovering exactly what Hope's father's will is, and Hope's father is called Harry, and that's why the series is called Harry's Girl. In the process of finding out what Harry's last wishes were, the girls find out that there was a lot that their father didn't tell them in terms of the kind of wealth he had amassed and some of the things that he'd gone through trying to protect that wealth, not only for them but even for the community that they live in. And that's how Hope and her sisters find themselves in the middle of a tussle between two gangs, both of whom want the piece of land that Harry has left them. They are not willing to back down, they are not willing to sell it, they are not willing to give up what they consider is their birthright. And these gangs are not willing to let up. They're not willing to just sit back and allow these three little girls to have their way. And that's where the action centers, with these two factions trying to do their best to oust each other, but at the same time trying to figure out how to get rid of these women who are a bit too stubborn for their own good. In the process, Hope and Dean are falling in love, and it's an inconvenient time to put it mildly, to fall in love, but they're trying to navigate these newfound feelings they have for one another, and at the same time dodge and duck all the bullets that are flying past them. So you have romance and action all gelling into one, and it's a kind of book I love to read, where you don't just have one story going, but you have two concurrent stories that are feeding into each other. So if you like your romance with a dash of action, this is a book you will definitely enjoy. It's set in a Kenyan space, in a Kenyan setting. The characters are Kenyan. The book is retailing for only 1,500 shillings, and you can get it by placing your order through WhatsApp. The number is 0745 030 395. I'll also include a link to the WhatsApp chat that you can use to place your order. Countrywide delivery is available for those who are in Nairobi. It's 300 shillings. If you're outside Nairobi or in its environs, you can definitely inquire about delivery cost. It won't be too much above 300. And in case you want to make an ebook purchase, you can get it on Amazon. I'll also include the link to that. So, Dream Girl, by me, first book, baby, near and dear to my heart. First of many. Book number 2 is on the way. It is Hayley's story. Hayley is one of Hope's sisters, and I had hoped to have it ready by the end of June. Unfortunately, that wasn't possible, and I had to make the call to push forward the release date just to ensure that the book got the love that it deserved. And I'm definitely working hard on making sure I tie up all the loose ends so that I can have book number 2 in your hands as soon as possible. So if you haven't read book 1, now is a good time to get all caught up. It's a standalone, so you won't be left hanging. There are no cliffhangers, but you'll definitely benefit from having that introduction to all the characters by the time you're reading book number 2 when you pick up Hayley's story. So there you have it. Book babies. Writing a book is fun. It's also hard work. So buy the book. There's nothing as encouraging to an author as having a reader get their book and give them feedback and tell them all the things that they enjoyed about it. I think it's probably one of my favorite moments as an author. So if romance is your thing, definitely get the book. If it's not, you can always buy it and gift it to someone. If you don't know anyone you can gift, you can always buy it and let me do the gifting. I'll definitely not find someone that can enjoy the book. And with that, I am off to get some work done on Numbers Girl, which is book number 2.